Hello everybody. Today we will discuss regarding subject heat transfer, its syllabus, its contents, its course objectives, course outcomes. First of all, let's discuss about the weightage of this subject. The total weightage of the subject is of 150 marks, for INSEM 30 marks, ENDSEM 70 marks, and for practical 50 marks. Heat transfer is a subject which we can say a versatile subject. The concept of heat transfer are used in all engineering applications, right from the applications of civil engineering, applications of electronics, computer, chemical. So all engineering field requires the concepts of heat transfer. So let's have a discussion about what are the course objectives of the subject heat transfer. There are six objectives mentioned over here. We can see first is identify the important modes of heat transfer and their applications. Application of general three-dimensional heat conduction equation. Third is analyze the thermal system with internal heat generation and lumped heat capacitance. Fourth is understand the mechanism of convective heat transfer. Fifth is determine the radiative heat transfer between surfaces. Sixth is to describe the various two-phase heat transfer phenomena and execute the effectiveness and rating of heat exchangers. These are the objectives of the subject heat transfer. Let's see what are the outcomes from this subject. There are four course outcomes. Course outcomes are denoted by CO. So first is CO1, that is analyze the various modes of heat transfer and implement the basic heat conduction equations for steady one-dimensional thermal system. CO2, implement the general heat conduction equation to thermal systems with and without internal heat generation and transient heat conduction. CO3, analyze the heat transfer rate in natural and forced convection and evaluate through experimentation investigation. CO4, interpret heat transfer by radiation between objects with simple geometries. And CO5 is analyze the heat transfer equipment and investigate the performance. So these are the five COs of this subject, course outcomes. What will be the content of the subject heat transfer? We'll discuss here unit wise. There are six units. Unit 1 is classified into three parts. First is introduction and basic concept. Second is boundary and initial conditions. Third is one-dimensional steady-state heat conduction without heat generation. In first part, we'll study modes and laws of heat transfer, the different modes of heat transfer. Then three-dimensional heat conduction equation in Cartesian coordinates, which is very important. And this is a generalized equation which is used for various applications. We'll study thermal conductivity, thermal diffusivity, and thermal contact resistance. In the second part of Unit 1, there is thermal boundary condition, heat flux boundary condition, and radiation boundary conditions. The last part, where heat conduction without heat generation, In walls, in slabs, cylinders, piers, we'll study the concept of electrical analog, concept of thermal resistance and conductance. We'll study three-dimensional heat conduction equation in cylindrical and spherical coordinates. Along with this, we'll study critical radius of insulation for cylinders and sphere and economic thickness of insulation. This concept is used for the thickness of wires. In unit number 2, we'll study heat conduction with heat generation for plane wall, cylinder, sphere with boundary conditions. The second part is the heat transfer through extended surfaces. Extended surfaces are nothing but fins. In this, we'll study types of fins and its application. We'll study different types of fins, their governing equations. Especially, we'll study infinitely long and adequately long fins. Along with this, we'll study the terms efficiency and effectiveness of the fins.